So today I got a video for you guys talking about the mentality around investing, and hopefully this video is actually going to be one of my best videos for a while with this kind of information and this other insight that I show you into the stock market today. So we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about why so many stock market YouTubers quit talking about stocks or quit stock picking or decided to move across to talking about finance news instead of stock picking news, because there's a lot of that going on. And also we're going to talk about why so many stock pickers also left the stock market. Now we're going to do a bit of a back time travel. We're going to go back in time. We're going to go to 2021, 2022. So during that period of time, we had an awful stock market. We had one of the worst markets ever. We had the worst stock market for 14 years. You know, they don't come around every so often, maybe once a decade, and it was brutal. The stock market in that time frame killed everyone. We had a lot of valuations go from high valuations down to historic low valuations. That's the best way to sum it up. And unfortunately, if you were buying in that time frame, you got slaughtered. And most people were buying in that time frame. Even me, I was buying in that time frame, and there's a few stocks that I still hold from that time frame that have got absolutely slaughtered. But for example, this is the first example that I want to use from the YouTube side of it, which is the biggest UK stock market channel. Basically came out with this video at the time saying 10 stocks that will 10x. Now, I'm actually going to point out that since then, this video has been deleted. And I don't agree with that. I don't think you should ever delete a video on YouTube if you are a stock picker. Me personally, I've got videos on YouTube that I look back at now and I go, that's not good. You know, and I disagree with the opinion that I say on that video, but we're humans, you know, we make mistakes. That's part of being humans, you know. As long as you can look back on that and go, yeah, you know what, I made a mistake there, and you accept that, you're going to do it. We're all humans here. We're all going to make mistakes in the stock market. You're going to make mistakes in life. As long as you can reflect on that and go, you know what, I was wrong there. I probably shouldn't have said that. And you move on from that situation, that's absolutely fine. I think when you start hiding from situations, that's never good. And the fact that this video has been deleted makes me a little bit like, I personally think that's wrong. But anyway, getting on to the point of view here. So the biggest UK stock market channel at the time, which now focuses on finance news and switched what they're covering, they talked about 10 stocks. And if you look at the 10 stocks here, down 10% the first pick, down 50% the second pick, down 75%, fourth pick down 85%, fifth pick down 80%, sixth pick down 48%, 7 down 60%, 8 went private, 9 down 22%, 10th down 60%. So you can see here, 10 stocks that are supposed to 10x, totally the other way. All 10 stocks are down, and some stocks are obviously down a fair amount. 84%, that's a fair bit down. And obviously these are supposed to be, you know, 10 very good stocks here that are going to do very well. Now obviously these are only 2 years into being bought, but obviously to recover from that and then go on to a 10x, it's probably not going to happen. Now, like I said, this isn't me having a go at this person, but it's a bit of reality of like, this is what happened in that time frame. 10 stocks talked about, 10 stocks all down, and some down massive. And that is how brutal that market was. And what I'm going to do now is not just from the YouTube side of it, I'm actually going to go to a professional stock picking service. So I'm going to talk about the Motley Fools here. Now, if you've never seen the Motley Fools, they do a service which you subscribe to. I can't remember how much it is. I reckon it's about £100 a year, I think it is, last time I checked. I don't know. Inflation's gone crazy. They might have doubled the prices since then. But I think you used to pay about £100 a year, and they used to give you tips of this is what we think are good buys. And if you actually look at their track record is absolutely amazing. They've smashed the S&P over multiple years. And if you bought into their service and bought their tips, you're doing very well. But even this stock picking service that has amazing track record returns over the longer term, if you look at that time frame in 2021, 2022, if you look at their picks between September 2020 and April 2022, they had 83 picks of stocks. In that time frame, only 12 of the 83 stocks they picked are up. And that means that only 14% are up on those picks. Now this, like I said, we're not talking about YouTube here, we're talking about a stock market picking service with fantastic track record. Even they got absolutely crushed between September 20 and April 2022. And during those 83 stocks, there was actually one stock that went down 100%, so they've gone bankrupt. There was 3 stocks that were down 90+%, and there was 9 down 80%. So even that service there has 13 stocks that have been absolutely crushed. And like we said, this isn't a YouTuber. I know a few people don't trust those YouTubers, but even this is a very good track record stock picking service that got absolutely crushed. And it shows you that time frame there was absolutely brutal. 2021 to 2022 was absolutely brutal, and it was a big test for everyone, even the people that have great track records, for YouTubers to kind of bounce back from this, and retail investors were going through exactly the same thing. So ultimately you were left with a point of view is like, from this situation where you've been absolutely crushed and this situation where you've been absolutely crushed, it's all about how you rebound from that, how you come back. Now, obviously, for a lot of people that got into the market during that time frame, if this is your first taste to be in the stock market, where only 12 out of 83 stocks are up, where the 10 stocks that are talked about are all down, you're looking at it going, I've heard things about the stock market being risky. This is definitely risky. I'm going to leave the market. And what did we see in 2021, 2022? A lot of people were diving off the 2020 run up and the hype, and everyone being at home looking for other incomes. There were so many retail investors that jumped onto the scene in that time frame, and then they all left. In fact, I would even argue that people that were in the market even before the 2020 hype, 2019, 2018, even some of them people will be looking at that situation going, I don't know about this. I've been in the stock market a few years, and look at how quickly it can go down, and all these returns I've had to suddenly go down. I don't know about this. There were so many people that looked at that situation where went, this is really, really tough. And mentally they went, I'm done with this. And they left the stock market. The YouTubers from this point of view, obviously they're seeing their views go down because people are leaving the stock market. They're seeing all these stocks coming down here. And ultimately as well, what we had a cycle of in 2020, 21, 22, is the whole stock market scene went really toxic, where there was a point of view where everyone then turned around about people that were maybe talking about stocks, the biggest stocks, and they needed someone to be frustrated at. And then these guys got a lot of stick as well. So ultimately you had the pressure of dealing with all these losses at once. You had people leaving the stock market, having to deal with this tough situation that's going on. So you can see why so many YouTubers from this point of view went, I'm not going to talk about stocks anymore. I'm not going to talk about stocks because my views are going down. I'm getting all this stick. I've got to keep following these stocks that keep going down. I'm going to go do something else. What's quite similar? What can I shift my audience to? Finance news. I talk about finance news. I don't have to deal with toxic side of the stock market, dealing with these stocks that are going down, continuously talking about these stocks. It's tough. Year and two. You do 2 years coming on here with a camera, having to talk about these stocks that are down this much and why you still believe in them. It's bloody tough. I can see why so many people don't want to do that, and it's tough to be invested and hold through it. Like, when you're seeing these stocks you own going down this much, it's tough to make it through the other side. And that's why ultimately we had this pressure of so many stocks going down, so many people in the stock market because of that, so many YouTubers leaving because other people are leaving, and also having to deal with these stocks being down. You just had this big combination at once after what was such a boom only a year before that. And really, the only people that are going to make it through this situation are the people that truly believe in what they're buying, how they're recycling their portfolio, as I put it. So you imagine if you have a portfolio like this, it's down, I'm hitting the whiteboard there. You imagine you've got a portfolio like this, 10 stocks, and they're all down this much. To come back from that, it's pretty tricky. You've got to be still believing in your companies. You've got to be confident to be averaging down in these positions. And you got to stay the long term. Something like if you look at the Motley Fool's track record, they've been absolutely stitched up in the last kind of, between September 2020 and April 2022. But they've never stopped picking stocks. And that's why, even though it's been a very tough time for them, why they have such a good track record of outperforming the market is because they go, it's a bit tough is this, but we're going to carry on buying in 2023, we're going to buy in 2024, we're going to buy in 2025. And they've made it already through like an 08 recession. So once again, going through this again isn't a big issue for them guys, and they know the longer term picture of buying in them stocks. And I'll tell you something, if I was to actually show you the tips that they did from April 2022 to, let's say, April 2023, and they were buying in that time frame when it were really low, you should see some of the stocks that they're up on. And that's because they didn't change their game plan. They carried on buying. And sure, you look at this time frame right now and you go, that's absolutely awful. But they didn't change the game plan. And you look at the stocks that they have been buying since then, and the returns they have are good because they were buying at really cheap valuations And that's the benefit of dollar cost averaging over a longer time frame. And anyone that you guys here, you know, that were buying in this dip after April 2022, any stocks that you guys were maybe buying after that time frame, I can probably say that most of those shares will be up, even if you're in stocks potentially that are sold down from this time frame. The shares that you probably bought after that time frame are up, or any new positions. If you look to go, right, I like that opportunity there, I like that opportunity there, you're probably up on them time frames as well. And that's the benefit of being in the longer term in the longer term position. You know, even me, I look at that time frame. I have stocks that I've bought between September 20 and April 22. They are by far the worst performing stocks in my portfolio, and I could have sit there and cried about it, going, oh, it's down there, but I had to deal with that. You know, I firstly for me, I didn't change my strategy. I stayed here. I talked about every single stock for the next, through that time period, and obviously from nearly a year and a half on from April 2022, I've stayed here, talked about the stocks, and I've also talked about how I'm pivoting my portfolio a little bit. You know, there's a few stocks that I look at that in this situation where I'm a bit like Motley Fool, for example, and I've got stocks that are down, you know, big amounts, and I go, you know, I probably made a bit of a mistake there. You know, there's a few stocks that I bought that were clearly a little bit too high valuations, that didn't deliver on the game plan, that were only doing very well because of the environment that we're in, and now we're out that environment and the pressures and the macros change a little bit there, you know, getting the suffering because of that, maybe benefiting from the macro environment that was going on through like the CV situation. And I've personally got stocks which have been absolutely battered since that time frame. But for me, I've not changed anything. I've kept the same investing plan. I've kept buying. I've looked at opportunities going, you know, that's absolutely stock that's absolutely been devastated, and I don't know if I'll make my money back on that investment. But what I've done is gone, but is there any stocks in this opportunity here that are down this much but are actually really good companies? And that's what I've also tried to recycle the portfolio and now pivot it for where I can now hopefully do what the likes of Motley Fool are doing as well, and, you know, recover out of the dip with a good portfolio. And, you know, the likes of trying to prioritize the likes of buying Google, for example, and the likes of trying to buy PayPal at the moment, and you know, plenty of other companies if you do watch my channel regularly. So overall, yeah, I just wanted to kind of cover this because you guys might not be aware of this or kind of know what's going on or how tough it can be mentally, and even seeing during this time period how much professional stock pickers had suffered, how much actual YouTubers have suffered from this situation, and why so many YouTubers have probably left the scene, because it is tough mentally to recover from this, and it's very tough to carry on talking about this when you're down so much, and the views that have been absolutely, you know, crushed because of people leaving, and the ability to switch to maybe a finance channel is so much easier than having to deal with this situation, and even the situation that even these professional pickers would have had to go through as well. So yeah, hopefully there's some useful information there where you maybe didn't realise how tough it can potentially be, and maybe how much mentally you've got to deal with stocks going down from even a YouTuber point of view, how much you've got to deal from even the big stock pickers out here, even how much they suffered from that time frame. So for you, if you're still here and you've made it through this side, through this pain here, you know, you got to give yourself credit, because the people watching this video aren't going to be the people that have quit the stock market. You know, if you're watching this video, you're probably someone that's stuck through it. So you're doing quite well to be putting up through this situation, or I've had to go through that situation, and hopefully we're kind of making it to the other side. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Anyway, guys, if you could hit the like button, that'd be absolutely amazing. Catch you in a bit.